This is the House of Clocks at New York University, a fascinating museum filled with a rare collection of 2,500 timepieces, carefully preserved milestones in the history of clocks. The curator of the museum, Professor Edward Conrad Smith, examines an 18th century traveling clock belonging to the collection, which records man's attempts through the ages to measure time. The first timepiece was the sundial, invented in 2000 BC by the Babylonians to follow the daily voyage of the sun in the heavens. The sand glass replaced the sundial, for its steady flow produced a more precise measurement of passing time. In medieval days, a marked candle was used with colored bands indicating units of time. The oil lamp clock used at night was still another of the primitive methods of keeping time. Much like the candle, the jar was marked to record the changing level of the burning oil. With the first mechanical clock in 1316, a new art was born. This elaborate clock is a 17th century Dutch creation. A second example of Dutch craftsmanship, a wooden clock with trip hammer chimes. The Japanese double balance clock is a copy of timepieces introduced in that country by Dutch traders in 1600. Only one of the balances is in operation at a time, switching automatically to the other at daybreak and sunset. The flintlock pistol clock was the 18th century alarm clock. It fired a shot of gunpowder, lighting a candle to permit the owner to read the time. The French calendar clock, made in 1815, is a remarkable timepiece, for its intricate mechanism records the days of the month and week, as well as hours, minutes, and seconds, and various astronomical signs. Somewhat similar is the American one-month clock, which derives its power from a spring, much like that found in our present-day automobiles. The invention of the pendulum as a time regulator ushered in the modern clock as we know it. This pendulum, which swings in a circle, is not as accurate as the standard type. The new pendulum was adapted by the French to a novel clock with a dial swinging back and forth, on and on. In this timepiece, the clock is its own pendulum. The Tide clock, an 18th century masterpiece by a British watchmaker, recorded the high and low tides at Southampton. The extraordinarily intricate American Cosmochronotrope can tell the time of day at any point on the Earth's surface. A model sun revolves once a year around the rotating globe at the top, illustrating the 4 seasons, indicating which areas are in sunlight and darkness, and providing an amazingly accurate portrayal of the Earth's role in the solar system. Here at the Museum of Clocks can be found the finest row of American grandfather clocks in existence, many of them 200 years old. They too are chapters in the histories of man's search for new instruments to measure the never-ending passage of time, the image of eternity.